Hi, guys. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. I really appreciate when you listen to my episodes. Okay, I have a confession to make. I've screwed up for about 2 years now. I've listened to a lot of podcasts lately, and I realize that I've been delinquent and really missed the boat on asking you folks to do me a favor. Everybody asks their listeners to do this, and it really helps us. So, number one, please hit the thumbs up. To just hit that little thumb there and like it, and then that'll help me with the algorithm. Secondly, leave a comment. Anything you want to say. I hate it. I love it. It helped me. I cried. Why is your guest so weird? Whatever you want. Thirdly, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Okay, that's it for my commercial for today. Please enjoy this episode. Greetings. Wilkinson here. Today my guest is Ryan St. Michael, and we were kind of online friends for a while, and then I was at the theater a couple months ago and I see this guy and I thought, he's a nice looking guy. I should see if he wants to either be photographed or be on my podcast or something. And then when I realized who he was, it's like, oh my God, we're like best friends on the internet. Of course, we had never met. And he's now in Palm Springs. And say hi to my people.
Oh, hi. I'm so glad to be here. When we have been friends for a long time through the magic of Instagram, but I think we've both experienced lost accounts and
Right.
and this and that. So it was really cool to reconnect with you, especially in person.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And you recently settled down, right? Where were you before?
So I grew up in South Carolina, elementary through college. But the last 22 years I was in Houston. I had moved there to go to law school and then just stayed. And it was really great to me. But now I've been in Palm Springs 2.5 months.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Do you like it?
It's like a dream paradise.
Really?
When you uproot your whole life of a very long time in another state to move to another state, there's a lot of lifting to do with insurance and doctors and you name it, like all of those life type banking, getting my LLC transferred to a new state, all of this stuff. There's been some headachy stuff, for sure. But for the most part, the people are so nice and very welcoming. The heat is a thing. The heat's a thing. But, geez, it's not like there's not all these people are having a pool party here and there.
Well, but Texas was warm, right?
Texas was very, very humid.
Right.
And so it's that muggy heat, which is very gross. I know what I'm talking about there. But this whole thing, when it hits 120 out here, that's new to me.
Well, 120 and humidity, which, the dry heat, we've had some not dry heat the last couple of years.
And the way that the way that I know that is I've started playing pickleball out here and love it and love the guys who I've gotten to know. I was a tennis player growing up, and so I think that gives you a little advantage to playing it. Oh yeah, we get out there at 6 a.m, and the temperature's not as bad, but on these days where the humidity has been high for 40% for Palm Springs. Oh yeah, I like I'm in like I've been in a shower, like it's out of control. Yeah.
Yikes. Well, I guess the question is, why'd you come here? What prompted the move?
Gosh, that's a great question, and I'll do my best to answer it and as concisely as I can.
We got time.
Okay.
Don't be too concise.
All right.
I need to fill in the.
No, I'd love to give some details. Okay. Well, I think that the main reason was social. I needed a little bit of a kickstart. I mentioned earlier I moved to Houston for law school. I did practice for 4 years, but the prior dozen years, I owned and operated an art gallery with my ex, who's an artist, primarily selling his paintings. He's known for his large abstract paintings. We also founded a nonprofit for artists. That was an unbelievably inspiring thing for me. I served as the executive director and really kept that it was a mentorship program going. We got a divorce. In our divorce, we settled things by agreement. We owned the business equally, but he got my shares by agreement. I don't need an art business. Point is, I'm the one that I got to decide what career what I'm gonna do with the rest of my life. And I didn't want to practice law again. I loved my years doing that, but I no longer had passion to do that. I thought about going into nonprofit management. I mean, even with some of my community organizations that I've been involved with, I understand fundraising and donor stewardship and all of that stuff. I know how to run a nonprofit. And if I could find one with maybe a social justice bend to it. I did several rounds of interviews with the ACLU of Texas. They were looking for a new executive director. And that could have been a dream job situation, but I didn't. They cut me after 3 rounds. But it was a long process. And meanwhile, the thing that's giving me the most joy in my life at this time, where I'm now on my own in an apartment, it's COVID, is Instagram and sharing these photos and getting a lot of affirmation and interaction with people. I have these big ideas to build a website, launch a YouTube series, all of this stuff, to the point where I know if I don't do this, I'm going to regret it. And
so your job now is content creator.
So I did it. Yeah, I did it. And with the way the divorce worked out, I could. I had a net of some savings, and I could actually try it. And so, yeah, it's now 3 years later. I'm doing content creation. But you'd asked me this about the impetus of the move, and I went a little far back. The point is, I then had kind of a work from home career. So much of my social life in Houston was that art community that we had built and collectors coming over to our place, and we were constantly hosting. Well, all of that social interaction was gone. Like sometimes during a week, I would see my trainer in real life. And I wasn't inspired to go start playing pickleball, for example, in Houston. I needed a new environment.
Well, it's too humid.
There's that part, yes,
right.
But I needed somewhere fresh to start.
Right.
So that the social reason of really needing to get out there again was my primary focus, probably, but also career-wise with the content creation stuff. There are so many creators here in Palm Springs, but also LA, and so many people visiting it's a tourist destination.
Right.
So far so good in all respects.
So you started a cooking channel.
What's that?
You started a cooking channel.
Not yet. Not yet. No.
Okay. So what's it all about?
My content?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, my brand is, and the name of my company is Seersucker Stud. In a lot of my modeling shoots, I'll start out in a seersucker suit and then slowly come out of it. But it represents the modern Southern gentleman, someone who is smart, progressive, witty, and sexy.
Right.
And I try to put that out into all components of my content, especially with the modeling shoots. I like to always begin in a custom suit or a tuxedo to give it that mature, kind of sophisticated feeling.
Right.
And then I also have quite a bit of content on TikTok, and my videos there that are comedic still have this sort of dad energy and humor to them. So I think I've been pretty good at keeping that consistent across the platforms. Right.
So in the gay world, do you consider yourself a dad? You're not really old or anything, but
So this is the funny thing.
Okay.
That's great you brought this up, because it's an interesting question sitting here in Palm Springs. So
wait, I'm going to stop you right there, because I'm going to give you my read on it.
Yeah.
So you're the dad next door, the young kid that's coming out, and friend next door, his dad's really hot.
Well,
is that what you're going for or not?
Well,
am I off track?
I'm just saying. No, I think that's could be a fair description. All I was going to say is, in Houston, like if I'm on a hookup app, the messages I get over and over are daddy, 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 there's no question about it. Here, when I come to Palm Springs for 1 week, in 1 week, maybe I think I was called young 25 times. Right. So that's
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Like it's, and I'm not mad about that either. So I like older guys. I don't have a type, I don't think.
Okay, I have a question though.
But the daddy thing on social media, I embrace that. Yeah.
So the 6 guys in Palm Springs that are under 30.
Yeah.
Have they all contacted you yet, or? I'm being facetious.
I hear you.
But not really.
No, I do get hit up by younger guys around here, but it is primarily older guys. Yeah.
So how does that fit in with the look that you're doing?
I don't know how it necessarily fits in with the look, other than one of the things, I guess, that if you would really kind of want to extend that modern Southern gentleman thing, if you look at my content, I think if you were just to consider my professional porn content, they have a typecast for me. And I'm the stepdad, and there's a stepson. Okay. And there's that. But in my OnlyFans, for example, I collaborate with a broad range of men. And I just think that also speaks to the filming and the work I've done out here. Even though there's plenty of older guys, there's like I said, there's visitors. I just think that's a continuation of being an authentic person and having a mix of people in your life.
Yeah, plus your audience is not restricted to Palm Springs by any means.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, you're on the internet, so boom.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can create whatever you want here and be who you want, and everybody all over the world would look at it, right?
I hope so, yes. There's just a lot of freedom here in Palm Springs, I feel like.
What is your favorite platform that you're on, and why?
My favorite is TikTok.
Is it?
Don't tell people on the other platforms that I said that. But I'm also a fan of TikTok. I really think that the creators that are TikTokers are so smart and funny and truly have a talent, and that's being rewarded by high numbers of followers on that platform.
Can you make money? I don't even know this part. Can you make money on TikTok?
You can, yeah. I think the people that are making big money, which I'm not one of them, from TikTok directly. Okay. I've gotten some brand deals, and I do some things called UGC. I don't know if you know, user generated content. I will make the videos for a company and just give them to them. Don't even post them on my platform.
Oh, you don't?
They just, it's a transactional sort of thing, which I think it's been some good money and great.
So you're modeling and creating for them, basically.
Correct. Yeah. Like I did one for Particle for Men, has skincare products. There's a cologne. Yeah, they gave me talking points, and I would at home film myself doing these things. Yes, and then you send them along through a drive or upload it, and there you go. I thought it was great. Good project.
Do they not want you to put it on yours, or do you just not want the ads on your own platform?
I guess it's just a different way of approaching it on their end. Okay. Here they have, instead of hiring a quote real model, they just get somebody who's so accustomed to this content creation game and can easily supply them these videos. It does, maybe that's worth it then to not have a popular creator also push it on their platforms.
And obviously you get paid for all that.
Yeah. But I guess to finish this, I find a personal satisfaction in watching TikTok, as well as, especially when videos of mine have done really well. That's just such a stimulating thing. Instagram was kind of my baby, and I have a lot of loyalty to it. I don't like the reels there. They are very basic, and the humor is over and it's repetitive. It doesn't excite me. I'm serious. Do not tell any Instagram that I said.
Well, hopefully
because
none of the big wigs will be listening.
Anyway, with X or Twitter, I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it, and I'm inspired in different ways with this stuff. Mine is a porn feed. I mean, that's what I'm looking at there.
But you don't do that on TikTok, do you?
No.
I mean,
no.
so you direct them over to your other.
Oh, from TikTok?
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Now, you have to be very subtle about that. And it has the strictest community guidelines of all of them.
It does?
It's TikTok.
Because I'm not on TikTok, and I don't really.
It does.
Wow.
It really does. And,
That's funny because the other ones are just crazy.
When you have a popular video on TikTok, I don't care what it's about, actually, or maybe this is just me. If it's just some guy telling a story or anything, it doesn't have to be especially thirsty in some way, but he has caught your eye. I start clicking to that bio and trying to see what else is out there, and that's what happens. I mean...
So you're sprinkling the breadcrumbs and they'll follow
It's
you.
a little crumb. That's exactly right. Yeah, it's a little crumb, and I have it definitely. You can't draw a direct correlation, but when one of your TikToks is kind of going viral and your OnlyFans subscriptions start to that's what's happening.
Oh, you can make the connection.
That's what's happening. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you charge on OnlyFans?
My monthly subscription is $8.99.
That's a nice price.
Yeah,
affordable.
I think it's middle.
Okay,
middle of the road. Yeah.
Do you hold on to them, or do people go on there, look through everything, and then go off?
It's funny you ask that.
Because the deal is you want them to stay on there.
Of course. And I can tell you that mine is very good. Very consistent posting, weekly new releases, etc. I always answer all of my DMs. I mean, on and on and on. I do those for my tried and true loyal guys that are staying and have been around since the beginning. They deserve that. But no matter what, no matter how strong my content is, there is a very high attrition rate out of there. And it's just human nature. They've enjoyed you for a month, and now they're going to go try something new. So that's why I have to be active on those other platforms.
Well, I always say it's a hungry lion, and you got to keep feeding it, baby.
Yeah. New subscribers. Yeah, name of the game.
Okay, so obviously one question is, okay, so you were a lawyer, and now you're not doing lawyerly things.
Oh, right. Yeah.
What prompted you to make that? That's a big jump.
Yeah, true. The jump wasn't exactly linear. There was a period of a dozen years after practicing where I was in that art world, and I still am very proud of the lawyer thing. I think I put it on my bios because I do think that...
Well, it takes a lot of work to do that.
It inspires... You said you can say that again.
My son's a lawyer, I know.
You can say that again. Yeah, I'm certainly very proud of it. But I do think that inspires a second look by people when they're like, wait a minute. What's happening here? And I like that, and I've had a privilege of doing some interviews about just porn in general and the misconceptions about it, and I just think one of them is that the men or women that do that are not intelligent or desperate for money or broken in some way, that they've found themselves there. And
everybody's basically broken. So.
I hear you.
Everybody.
I got you on that. But if I can, at least in my one little small way, help affect or change a negative stereotype about a terrific industry, I'm proud to do that.
I guess I was in the category where I looked down on all that prior, like when I was married, straight, quote unquote, and working in a church, blah, blah, blah. So that was my perception. Mm-hmm. However, in Palm Springs, I've met a lot of guys that do porn. Mm-hmm. And that's not my impression now. And we talked a little bit
Oh, we did. Yeah.
Before we recorded here. And a lot of them are like really smart.
Yeah.
They're great businessmen. They're so funny and they have such great personalities.
Yeah.
Now, again, not everybody, but that's my general impression. If somebody says, what do you think of porn stars? That's what I would say. That's been my experience.
Well, that makes me very happy. And that's been my experience as well. Even, my studio, I'm not a huge studio actor. I get 3-4 jobs a year.
Oh,
maybe.
Really?
And that makes me happy and keeps me in the game and is great. I'd love more. I mean, I'll take more. But that's where I think, particularly sometimes hear some horror stories about, unfair treatment on set type stuff. And it's just not been my experience at all. Great crews took care of us.
But there's so many content creators. It's totally changed their industry, the studios, and so many have left or whatever, because you're basically you can cut out the middleman and take the money,
which is a true passion of mine. I mean, I don't know. So we had a discussion before coming live to speak with you guys today, and that nonprofit, about training them on entrepreneurial skills.
Right.
It is taking out the middleman of the art gallery, empower them to be able to sell their artwork on their own instead of that traditional model. And in this adult content world, they've done it. They're using like the online medium or platform that's the subscription site and just earning that money themselves. And I think it's fantastic.
Well, just as an example of that, so I let some guys from porn studios shoot here pre-COVID. My agreement with them was I get to watch if I want. It was actually pretty boring, to tell you the truth. A lot of it. I could ask questions, and then the people in charge would recommend me, because I'm a photographer, to photograph some of these guys who a lot of them I really like, which all happened. But in the process, I discovered, they told me, I watched these guys get paid. They were getting like $300 to $500 a scene, where years ago they probably would have got $3,000 to $5,000. And it's just like really changed. And it's the same thing with photography, not porn, but regular photography. I talked to a pretty talented photographer. I was at a party with him a couple of years ago, so it's probably gotten worse. But he said his commercial shoots that he got up $10,000 for, they were dickering with him for $1,000.
Yeah,
everything's. The internet has just changed everything.
Right.
Yeah, and everyone is a photographer now too.
Yeah, yeah. I have been terrifically honored to been involved in that professional studio work, but from day one, my goal with that was to drive traffic to my personal platforms. Yeah,
drive traffic, and probably to pick up some. Yeah, every time you do something like that, you probably learn a few tricks.
That's for sure. That's true. It just fun kind of life experiences that I've enjoyed, and just increasing your name recognition, that being associated with those studios, that's going to help you out.
Right. So was there a moment where you said, can you remember a click moment? With big changes, I always call it a click moment. Was there a click moment where you said, I could do porn? Or did it just gradually creep up on you?
I want to say it was more gradual for me. A little backstory is that I kind of had a fitness journey. I was always a fit person. I was a junior tennis player growing up, but I never really tried to get fit and get the abs and the whole thing. And I did it for my 40th birthday. I really did. I was very proud of myself. And I hired a photographer in Houston named Evan Thayer. He's passed away, but he was an icon, this great guy. And we did a sexy photo shoot. And I've just never been so, felt affirmed, challenged. It was fun. It was a turn on. It was just all of the things. And for many years, I would go do erotic modeling shoots for fun, and actually have the photographers sign things that said they can't, this is just for fun, no posting anywhere. It's like the opposite now. Now I'm like begging, like post
it out there.
Post it everywhere.
Send people my way.
I just had been comfortable with that for years. I talked to my ex about, I said, now look at all this stuff that I've accumulated. This is like a portfolio. That kind of helped my Instagram take off because I had at the beginning just a bunch of content to release. All of my stuff.
Stop for a minute. So I'm a photographer. I got to ask you this. So when you did those early erotic shoots, and you said to the photographer, "This is just for fun. You cannot use it and put it out there."
Yeah.
But you were able to put it out there yourself. So they said, "We're not going to use it, but you can."
Oh, no. So when I circled back, when I started a public account, I circled back and said, "Everybody's free to use. Is it okay if I?" Yeah.
Oh, so
that was a different
renegotiated the prenup.
Yeah, we renegotiated the and everybody was cool and fine. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
My point is, I was always porn adjacent from the beginning. From the beginning of my kind of content journey, I was showing my butt in a jockstrap on Instagram. So it wasn't that far I had to go, but I researched it. I did pro-con lists. I talked to guys who did it. I subscribed to people's pages to try to figure it out. It was a thoughtful process, and every time I did a pro-con list, it was saying, you should do this.
Huh.
So I got there. Yeah.
What are the negatives of doing what you're doing?
There is a stigma associated with it that's undeniable. And I think that even this is some therapy is going to come out right now.
We like therapy.
Yes, I highly recommend. So even though I obviously don't stigmatize it myself, I'm an active participant and promoter of it. Sometimes there's still, like internalized homophobia, you can have an internalized stigma of it and think that somebody is not going to get you or respect you or like you maybe because of your career.
Right.
And it's just a process, I think, of knowing you don't know what, you don't know what their impression of you is going to be. You just need to be yourself. Right. And, that's been a challenge.
And I guess if you're going to run for political office, although who knows, that may not even be a problem nowadays. Who knows?
I love politics. I have a particular passion for local politics. When I was living in Houston, I don't know much about the workings around here in Palm Springs, but I'm a supporter. Like in Houston, I volunteered for an organization for a long time where it was for the Houston LGBTQ Political Caucus, which has been around since the 70s.
Cool.
The most highly sought after progressive endorsement in Houston, coming from whoever, the Tejano Democrats, the unions. The most sought is the one from the LGBTQ caucus. Yeah. It's just got the best screening process. And now for years, they have a slate of people who get their endorsement. There's, I think, a mailing of 40,000 addresses. People like me would work at the poll and pass, And after doing it for so long, people would recognize the card. Give me the card. They would know who you are almost. So that to me is better than any feeling of sending Kamala $25. When somebody now is going to use that to go in there and vote for those persons, I find the political process fascinating and fun, and especially.
So when you say "give me the card," so you have a card that tells the candidates that are on board with LGBTQ plus issues. Is that what it is?
No. What I was discussing is actually at the polling location.
Oh, when
somebody's coming to vote, I'm saying here's who the gay people say to vote for.
Okay.
You need to vote. You need to go in there and vote for all these people.
Okay.
And they'll do it.
Oh, that's what I meant, but in a different way.
Okay,
gotcha.
So the screening to get on that card,
right.
Now that's a whole thing.
Right.
There's an application of screening. You got to win the vote of the body. It's a difficult process to get it, and so that's why it's sought after.
Have any of those candidates switched and they get crossed off the list. Does
Yeah,
that happen?
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. You know, they will have an endorsement in the past and they'll do something that is, or they will become elected and be in the legislature, for example, and then come out in support of something anti-trans,
right.
something like that. They are not probably won't be getting any more endorsements.
Right. Are you aware of anybody that really conned you or the group by doing that? I mean, they really were not representing who they were.
Not to my knowledge. Okay. I mean, the screening is kind of
pretty
intense.
Thorough.
It's pretty thorough, and
yeah.
you've got to know your stuff a little bit. In a live interview that's 30 plus minutes, I have sat in on one before, okay. And it was. I think they'd have a feeling, and maybe you could let them. You know, if you were a total homophobe, for example, you could go in there and not let them know that, but you're still not going to get a good score. You're not going to progress much further in the process because if you don't have the talking points.
So, what do you think? Let's switch gears here for a minute. So, November, and then after November, so Project 2025. What do you think of that? Because they're in they said they're going to make porn illegal. What do you think of that?
Oh, I think there's a lot of abhorrent things in that, including I mean, it's insane. I don't know. I'm currently riding really high on the Harris phenomenon, and I'm just so really grateful to President Biden. I know some people sort of helped him to make that decision, but he was the one who had.
Well, it was his decision.
He was the one who had to do. He was the one who had to do it, and just this explosion of support for her, not only in money but also in literal volunteers. I mean, that's knocking on doors in Pennsylvania type stuff, and so I'm sitting here a little bit confident, knock on a lot of wood, so that hopefully wouldn't be coming into Project 2025, at least wouldn't be a priority from the White House. And
I'm going to stop you there. Yeah. If you're listening to this and you don't know what we're talking about, you have to check that out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
It's really bad stuff.
There's scary things in there. You know, even in the swing states right now, even though she might have been improving, I think almost everywhere it's still within the margin of error. It's going to be a really close race, and there is a lot of time between now and November. I think that porn's not going to go away. I know we have a conservative court now, but even I have got to believe that they understand the concept of freedom and freedom of speech guarantees under the First Amendment. Now, porn is heavily regulated, and I agree with those regulations. But to say that it can't exist, or is banned outright, I'm considering moving to a different.
Ship has sailed.
Our Constitution is not in operation.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if they have their way, they won't have that either. But that's another topic. Huh.
Yeah.
So where do you go from here? Not today, just generally. You said you want to expand your reach on social media as a content creator, but what else?
Always.
Do you have any? I have one that just popped in my little brain here. What about? Do you have any favorite porn stars you'd like to do a scene with?
Yes.
Who?
Yes. Do I have to really say their names?
Well, you don't. If you don't want to.
Well, I'll say one that's very I'll say two that are very famous. So, I mean, if it was just like one of my Twitter crushes, I wouldn't. I don't want to drop that right here. But I am actually a big fan of Beau Butler. I've met him. I think he's charming. I also really respect his activity on different platforms. He's a strong creator, and I think it's fine. I mean, I'm skipping the part where I think he's gorgeous, ridiculously hot. And then another one would be Sir Peter, who I had the opportunity to meet in Chicago over the Grabbies.
I don't know. I know who the first one is, but not the second one.
Sir Peter is, I don't know. He might be the biggest in the world these days. I mean, he's just
Where have I been?
very,
I don't
very.
know.
He's from Spain, but he's now
Well, you got me right there, Spain. Okay.
He's now a Falcon exclusive. But for some reason they put our table next to the Falcon table at the Grabbies, and I got to talk to him, and he said something. I was being a real fan girl situation, and I just complimented him and said, congratulate. He had won, and I'm in categories with guys like this guy. Okay, so I'm just honored to be nominated for seriously. And
right.
he said something to me like, "Haven't we messaged before?" And I'm like, yes, we have. So I was like struck.
Oh, so he remembered.
So he did.
Wow.
He did. And so that would be a dream to work with him. Yeah, and I'm telling you all of these attributes about their kindness and charming, but the physical part is there as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Anything else you want to add to any of this?
I guess I just
what haven't we talked about?
I really just want to thank you and for allowing me to tell some of these stories. It's fun for me. It's potentially a career help
right.
with just getting my name out there, but it also is therapeutic and helps me to, when you take the time to articulate what you're going through and why you're doing it, I think that helps give you some clarity
right,
to
exactly.
things. So I've had a great time, and just thank you so much for inviting me.
I did think of another question.
Okay,
we didn't talk about we didn't talk about a lot of stuff I usually talk about. Okay, we're not done yet.
Oh, okay, all right.
You have to have a coming out story. What was that?
Oh,
because
one.
I've said this before. One of my goals on my podcast is I do it mainly to reach gay guys in little towns that have no real gay experience or friends, and I get letters and emails from them saying this really helped me. It's not me.
Okay.
It's my guests. Their story helps them. So do you have a story?
I do.
What was your story?
I do. I have a coming out story. So I grew up in Clemson, South Carolina. So it's a college town where Clemson University is.
Okay.
At the time when I was growing up, it was population 12,000. It's a very idyllic place to grow up, in my opinion and experiences. However, I did not know one gay person. No gay influence at all. So there's that, and I'm in the deep South, and so I'm very closeted, but I do know that I'm gay from a very young age.
Like how old, if you put a number on it, what would it be?
7 or 8.
Did you say, you probably didn't say gay. Did you say gay or different? Or
no, I think I just knew attraction to men.
Okay.
I think I knew that attraction, and I had a young and almost simultaneous understanding that that's not accepted.
Wow.
That's not right.
Was there something that was said to you that gave you that? Because, that you weren't born
It wasn't.
with that.
It wouldn't be. It just, I think, would have to be media or just the world around. Because I had terrific parents that they're conservative people, but I never heard any type of slurs or that type of language. And we did go to church. It was a Presbyterian church, but it wasn't hellfire, gloom and doom, anti-gay. It just was Presbyterian church. And my priority, if I was in a tennis tournament and was still playing on Sunday, we're going to the tennis. We're not going to church, Anyway,
Oops.
That's just.
Were you an only child?
No, I have an older brother.
Okay.
I'm getting off the track. So I did not want to come out in college. I loved college. I was in a big fraternity. It just was a lot of fun, and I didn't want to compromise that fun with my truth. And so I then knew I was going to do it after graduation. And the closest time I thought that I knew my family, because now my brother is a practicing lawyer, would be at Christmas. And we'd gotten in the habit of going on a trip for Christmas.
That's the whole family?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's just four of us.
That we're right, but
mom,
parents
dad,
and the two boys. Yeah.
mom, dad, and my older brother.
Right.
So we went to Cancun this year, and we're at some resort.
Oh, there's Speedos there. Come on.
Oh no, I would have never worn a
okay.
Speedo
Right.
at this point. That came pretty soon after, though, when I moved overseas. When I was living in South Africa with those guys, like I had a boyfriend. He saw me show up to the beach in some trunks, and he's like, no, no.
No.
So, but at this time, it was a little before that.
So you're on this trip.
So we're on this trip
Okay.
with a family in Cancun, and we had everybody's gift was the trip itself, but we did this thing where you exchanged gifts with everybody that had to be less than $20, and I had to do something that would make me say the words out loud, and so I gave them each a movie, a VHS tape.
Oh no!
So this is 2000. This is 2000.
Okay.
So there was a VHS tape of my brother got Philadelphia, and my mom got As Good as It Gets, and my dad got In and Out. And
Did they get it when they opened those?
No,
They didn't get it.
There's no getting it really. So, but there's a silence enough to where, or not silence, but like a opening was there for
Right.
me to say. You might notice that these movies have something in common. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're about people that are gay, and I'm gay.
Wow.
So, sorry. I
No,
haven't
that's-
relived that story in a little while.
No, that's great.
So anyway, it was fine. It was fine. There were some tears. I then start talking like nonstop, and well, not too long, but I know I said some things like I just was convinced I needed to clear the air about some things. I was like, I can tell y'all all right now, if you're even tempted to ask me if I'm sure, I'm sure. Like,
Wow.
this is for sure. I think I said I might have been. I know it's for. I said I no, alluded to something. I think I said something about HIV/AIDS and just wanting to let my parents know that I know about that.
And
what I
don't
know,
worry.
I know
Yeah.
how to take care of myself as best I can, and
Right.
it was beautiful, and there was hugs and tears because my mom especially just felt maybe that I had a tough life or something, and I haven't.
Wow.
So my
Yeah.
brother saved the day. My
Did he?
brother saved the day and said, Ryan, do you want to go out to the lobby and play cards? And I'm like, yes. So we went and played cards in the lobby.
So your mother, in saying that, she thought she was to blame or something?
Oh, no. Because she thought that I might have always been struggling internally, that she wants every day of my life to be perfect and happy. And
Okay.
the thought that I had been struggling with
Right.
something
Made her sad,
just
yeah.
made her upset.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but your dad and your brother were okay
Fine.
with it
Yeah.
all?
Yeah, totally fine.
Which begs the next question. Do they know about your new career moves?
Well, my dad's passed away.
Okay.
He passed away in 2018.
Okay.
My family does. My mom knows enough, I would say. Like she knows that I have a subscription platform where there's mature content, and she sees my TikToks that are obvious. I mean, so conversations in and around it are polite, I think.
Okay.
Like, how was your shoot? And I'm like, great, or whatever. We spent time in Paris together for most of March, my mom and I. It was a
Okay.
wonderful trip. But in the planning of it, I said, if we're going to be there for that long, I have to work and do some shoots and collaborations. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So, I mean, obviously I didn't host anything, but on
With French guys?
yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
And photographer. Yeah, I
Right,
did some
right.
photo shoots as well. And it was,
Right.
amazing, but obviously would go to their studio and or apartment or wherever. And yes, my brother knows. It's just not something we discuss.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's touchy subject, say, I'm not going to answer that. But how about your ex? What does he think of the director? So you were starting to do stuff when you were together, right?
Well, just modeling,
Okay.
just sexy Instagram sort of stuff. All of that evolved after all of the professional stuff and OnlyFans was after. Yeah, this is a little sensitive,
Okay,
and
we
so I'm
don't
not going to go into detail.
We don't need to
I'll just say that we're not in communication.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in my couple of years doing this and with photos, I mean, the obvious thing when you're doing any adult stuff is, I mean, everybody thinks, well, you don't do it if you're going to run for president. That's the obvious thing. But the other thing, I think it would be relationships, because it's okay with some guys and it's not okay with other guys. So
right.
Yeah.
Which is some advice I would give to anybody. I mean, especially if you're a young person. I mean, I came into this game when I was 43. I had a 17-year marriage relationship. I'd had multiple careers. And and I was comfortable being an entrepreneur. So wouldn't really think I'd ever have to have another boss again. If I was married again, take it or leave it.
Right.
So, but if you are a young person, you should consider future career opportunities and relationships. It's just a reality.
It's like getting that really weird tattoo when you're young. Think about it, guys.
Yeah, you do need to think about it.
It's going to be there. So think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now we can go back to where we were. So thank you very much for coming in.
Oh, sure.
It's fun. And we will arrange to do a photo shoot. Got to do that.
I'm really looking.
You're a nice looking guy. We got to do that.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for saying that. That's really nice. And thank you again. I can't believe I got a little emotional, but
I like real.
Absolutely.
Do not apologize for that.
Well, I
please.
also just want to compliment you. I did not know that was one of the aims of your podcast, was to help with people coming out.
Right.
Excuse me. So, gosh, if I could have half of 1% of a help with one person, gosh, that's very meaningful to me. So thank you very much.
All right. And we may very well do a follow-up podcast. Maybe in a year or so.
Oh, that'd be fun.
See how you're doing.
That'd be fun. Yeah, I love Palm Springs so far. And just even sitting here today and this experience is part of it.
And we don't do commercials on here. However, I will say look at the episode notes. There will be some links there, and you can take it from there, people that are listening. Okay. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.